What the heck, and welcome to the final video of the year, guys. 2020 is almost over. How good is that? Obviously, we all know this year has been very different for a lot of people, including myself as a travel influencer, and I thought I would just share what I've sort of learned over the last year since the travel industry has been sort of dead. Really dead. Not only has my income been slashed, but my lifestyle has been completely changed. So I thought I would just make a quick video giving 3 things that I've learned, along with 3 epic locations that I have visited this year that you should definitely add to your bucket list. Let's do it. Lesson number 1 is that I took travel for granted like crazy. Over the past 5 years, I've managed to visit 60 countries, and obviously, I've been bouncing around all over the place, just being like, yeah, this is normal, this is what I do, this is how I enjoy living my life. Not really realizing how grateful I was to have all of those experiences in such a short amount of time. So once 2020 hit, and I really haven't been out that much in the last 9 months, I've just looked back on all my travel memories and just been like, wow, Jordan, you really made the most of the last few years. Now, here's the thing. It's sort of impossible not to take it for granted once it's become a normal routine in your life, because that's just human nature. But it's still great to note the fact that I've had a really blessed life. Now, as for location number 1, I visited the Whitsundays again for the 3rd time in my life, and it doesn't get any less beautiful. That location is stunning, and I highly suggest you make the trip to the Whitsundays wherever you are in the world one time. It's basically the most cliche place with the best water, the best beaches, the best animals, and it's just beautiful all the time. So yeah, definitely make the trip out there if you can. Number 2 is that I've actually realized why people get into relationships. Now that sounds stupid, I know. That sounds ridiculous, but until this year, I was living life so fast-paced, ridiculously fast-paced, to the point where I never valued relationships, and I never really understood why people would want to get into a relationship. I know, it sounds crazy even to me saying it right now, but it wasn't until I slowed everything right down this year that I realized relationships are really important, and they're probably the most important thing in this world. I've gotten to spend the last year at home with my family, and honestly, I don't really want to trade that for the world. Although I couldn't travel and I was handicapped in that regard, I got to hang out with my family, and I didn't get to do that for the past 5 years, so it was a win for me. And when it comes to romantic relationships, I realized this year that with all the free time you might have, it's probably best to just invest it into other people. Because I obviously didn't do that this year, hence that I'm still single, but it sort of opened my mind to, Jordan, you're never gonna get a relationship unless you don't put time aside and really focus on it. So, although I'm not announcing my girlfriend today, it's something I'm thinking about. And as for location number 2, I managed to visit Japan this year. The only country I visited this year, apart from my home country, Australia, was Japan. And wow, you've got to go to Kyushu and see all the beautiful waterfalls. You've got to go up to Tokyo and see all the awesome stuff to do in the city. Japan was the best, and although my trip got cut short, I will be back there because I love that country. And lastly, the 3rd thing that I learned this year in this crazy world, which is 2020, was I realigned and relearned what my passions were. So, although I've been doing what I love for the last 5 years, this year really grounded me and showed me exactly what I love to do, which obviously is travel, but I didn't realize to the extremity, like to how much I love that. I love culture, I love meeting new people, I love traveling the world, I love the unknown, I love adventure, and I love just the outdoors and nature in general. Now, although Australia provides most of that, unfortunately, I feel so comfortable in Australia because it's my country that I was born in and I lived my whole life here, so it's not really pushing my comfort zone. Now, I could have done things to get out of that zone a bit by traveling a bit more, but when it comes to culture, different food, and meeting different people, it's sort of lacking for me. So when people tell me, Jordan, you're so blessed to be in Australia, I also agree. It's a great place to be stuck in, but I'm still missing a couple fundamental things which Australia can't provide, and that is discomfort. I miss the discomfort of life being a 24-hour flight away, 3-hour hike into a random mountain in a random hut, or just like eating a food that I've never tried in my life, or just like anything that is absurd or different to what I've known. That's what I miss. Hence why my passion for Australia travel might be low, although this country is stunningly beautiful and I am probably going to travel this place a lot more in the coming year. And the third location you have to visit is Emerald Beach, just north of Coffs Harbour. This location surprised the heck out of me. It is honestly such a stunning beach, such a beautiful location that very few tourists and locals even go to, so it is a great place for you. Not only is there one of the coolest beaches and the headland is amazing that you can just walk around for days, but there's kangaroos on the headland, so it is a classic, iconic Aussie place that you definitely need to visit for a sunrise. And now for a quick announcement from the sponsor of the video. We haven't had too many sponsors this year, so we're grateful for that for sure. I'm now available on an app called Connector, which is basically a one-on-one video calling app where you can talk to me and you can ask me about anything to do with advice on travel, social media, how to get into the industry, or honestly, we can just have a chat. If you see a little green dot next to my profile name, that means I'm available for a chat, so feel free to do so. I'll also be posting exclusive content over there, behind the scenes and other things like that, so feel free to download the app. The link will be in the description. And that is a not WAP. That is a wrap for 2020. This is the final video I'll be posting. I never thought I'd be so stoked to say goodbye to 2020 and hello to 2021. And lastly, thank you to you guys for sticking by me this year. It has been not the best year, obviously, for content or just Jordan's life online in general, but I appreciate every single one of you, especially the people that constantly comment, constantly show up, and constantly click the post notifications bell. You're all legends, and anyone that came from TikTok this year, an extra shout out to you because TikTok honestly saved my 2020. I never thought I'd be so happy for a year to end, but goodbye 2020, hello 2021, and I'll see you in the new year. What the heck? Goodbye! What the heck, what the heck, what the heck?